Hello everybody, NGS here and welcome back to Symphogear episode... which one is it gonna be? Episode 7, I think? Episode 8. Yeah? Or, why did I forget that? Episode 8, of course. Episode 7 went up today on YouTube. Right. In the previous episode, did a lot happen? Kinda, sorta. We did see the newborn deity kinda thing. The fetus encased in the chrysalis that turned out to be made of tentacles. And of course it has all the properties of a deity, so it cannot be harmed, cannot be killed by anybody but our resident Godslayer herself. And we very quickly jumped from that to the inside of the Chateau de Tifauge, where Elf9 picked up the mantle of Carol, literally and figuratively. At least later on. At first we met the autoscorers or their spare bodies, if I'm not mistaken, but inhabited by the same minds, or just the copies of both their bodies and their minds. I'm not entirely clear about that, but they of course helped Elf9 because she has Carol's body, and they were co-workers, even with Elf9, for a good while. So thanks to the autoscorers, Elf9 managed to run away from our trio of alchemists, and then she henshined using her Faust robe. That's why she picked up the mantle, literally, the Faust mantle, Faust robe, whatever you want to call it. It was interesting because Carol's henshin into the same form was after she grew herself up. Meanwhile, Elf9 didn't, so there were some interesting differences on how they handled that henshin. And it's not entirely 100% clear to me at this point whether we are dealing with Carol, who took over the reins of the body. Are we dealing with Elf9, but supported mentally and physically by Carol, or whatever remnants of her mind and consciousness? Or are we dealing with a fusion of them both? I don't know. I guess we will see in today's episode. We of course don't quite know what will become of Miku. She is still trapped under that weird dome with the bracer, but the residual power of that bracer itself created a deity, so one can only assume what's gonna happen when there is a human factor added, when the power of the bracer, the divine power, actually has a good and proper vessel. Because our heroes are struggling even with a vessel-less manifestation of divinity, so if it gets a vessel, yeah, that ain't gonna go well. Unless, of course, we will use the powers of friendship and love, the way the similar situation was solved when it was Hibiki who was turned into a deity-like being, and Miku's voice brought her out of that state. Perhaps now the roles will be reversed. We'll see. Anything else about the previous episode? Not particularly, no. Yeah, not really. Oh, well, Hibiki got hurt. And she's still hurt, I believe, so that is an important thing, because she's, at least for a little while, out of commission. I wonder if that's gonna be relevant, like everybody's going to mount an offensive on Chateau de Tifauge to help Miku, and Hibiki will not be there, and Hibiki will be the key to rescuing Miku. Probably something around those lines. Symphogear has a way of excluding characters from combat when it actually has some significance. If anybody gets some injury during fighting, if they're somehow put out of commission, it will be relevant later on. So I'm waiting how it will be relevant. Now, granted, this time around, taking Hibiki out of commission was a little bit iffy. I was a little iffy on that because she just was wrapped up in the tentacles and then broke out of them and dehenshined and fainted, and I don't know, the balance of power was kind of shaken. Because it seems like if Hibiki was able to break out of it with some burst of energy, then she should be fine, but okay, there is a point to Hibiki being incapacitated. We just haven't seen yet what that point is, and we will see it in this episode, for sure. Anything else that needs to be said about the previous one? I don't think so. I think I said everything that I remember, at least. If I forgot about something, I have full belief that this episode will remind me of that as it becomes significant. But yeah, no point talking and speculating. We should just start watching this episode, right? Shall we? You're gonna need your subs, of course, to follow along. I'm gonna need my sound to hear what's going on. I can't put on my headphones with just the press of a button, alas. And I'm also gonna have to ask you guys for your support, of course, on Patreon, for example, link in the description below. Or not, if you don't want to spend any money, share my content, spread the word, it also helps the channel a lot. And with that out of the way, we can start watching episode 8 of Symphogear XV in... come on. Fuck. My phone stand just... Okay, there we go. Support on Patreon or share my content, spread the word, and now we can start watching episode 8 of Symphogear XV in 3, 2, 1, go. Having a nightmare, dreaming of the god. Okay, a little bit of last time on Dragon Ball Z. Right, important thing. Elf9 had a nice thing to say about every autoscorer. Whatever they were insecure about, Elf9 always was able to find the correct words. How much she likes Mika's hands and all that stuff. So it was a nice send-off. Henshin! Are we gonna replay the Henshin? Yep. At least a sped up version of it. And the line... I'm the murderer of miracles. Indeed. I never really paid attention yet to the lyrics of this opening. The chorus of this opening is great. I still have no clue what's the deal with the scorpion. Okay, it seems to be just generally a hype song. I couldn't really find any like deep meaning in it, so to speak. Durda blah. Carol in it. Yeah, I'm afraid you're no match for Carol. Yeah. Glad to have you back. Unexpected, but not entirely unwelcome. Just like that. Zero effort. Torso rocket? Okay. Where are her organs? Yeah. That was actually nice. Can't you hear she's still singing? I mean, yeah, it is Carol we're talking about. She ain't wrong. What chance? What moment? What are you waiting for? That's actually a great song. I love her voice here. It's a black hole. Team Rocket's blasted off again. Okay, so there are two consciousnesses in the same body. It's not like I wanted to save you or anything, baka. Ah, you tsundere. Whomst. Oh, hello, Carol. Oh. Okay, so... So Elf9 was trying to stir her awake? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. That's good. Coordinates or something? No. Not really possible without Hibiki. Can it dissect a deity, though? Something tells me they might not manage. Oh, hello. What are the chances that he will actually? That means 0. uh, you have exactly 0 chance against Carol. In the form of having kidnapped Miku? I guess. Nightmares? Probably Hibiki's nightmare. Okay, how do you even start tackling it without Godslayer at your disposal? Okay. It's not like I'm doing that for them, Baka. Okay, how do you tackle that? The only thing that comes remotely close would be Shulshagana. So the chateau is itself a conceptual weapon. Okay. Mega structure. Okay. That's easy enough to procure. Just sing really hard. You mean Suicide Song? She means Suicide Song. You don't have Hibiki to tie your songs together and protect you, though. So that's actually potentially life-threatening. They started disregarding the dangers of Suicide Song really quickly, didn't they? It used to be that big boogeyman, last-ditch effort kind of thing that kills your target and yourself equally. And now they're like, hey, should we sing a Suicide Song? Hell yeah, we should. And they just do it. Huh. They need someone to direct that gain. Okay, so there is an explanation why it's not deadly immediately. No, you're like emitting that output everywhere and it needs to be directed at the chateau. I think. Because she's a permanent part of their team. So of course they will not be whole without Hibiki. The former. Sure, but it's not like you're changing your tactics particularly much. Oh, they're gonna cast the labyrinth. Okay. I guess they're going for the fantasy trope where if you cannot defeat the enemy, just seal them and make it the issue for future generations. Hibiki Ex Machina? What did you expect, really? What did you expect? That's a big beam. If there is someone who mastered conceptual weaponry, it would be Carol. Okay, I get it took a toll on her, though. Okay, there we go. Superb forms, or whatever you call them. That's gonna be like, what, third henshin or something thereabouts? Okay, she's still here. Just needs to rest a little. That can be arranged. Case in point. He's not human. I mean, that's what you get for working with villains. It seems to be a running theme in Symphogear. A guy trusts a villain that does villainous things, and then is surprised Pikachu face that the villain betrayed them. I always like the trope of minimal attacks having maximum power. Okay, a nice dance inside of a railgun. Docking, sure. Is it gonna be enough? Gonna restore from a different dimension, of course. Is that Hibiki in a rocket? It's Hibiki in a rocket. Going in Tanya style. Same voice actress, so... She gonna Chrysopia or just defeated in her base form? Surprising that Fudo didn't decide to fuck with Tsubasa right now. Ooh, okay. That was a cool shot. I said it when one of the weapons just fell out of someone's hand. Can't remember who it was. And here, very similar thing where one of her earphones was smashed. How it really shows that those Symphogears are actually physical things. I'm gonna get more in depth, I guess, later during the discussion segment. Fly, you fools! Chrysopia. Yep. I really like her Chrysopia form. I really do. It's so sleek, so organic. It's less like angular, technological, and more like molten gold. And flower petals. Oh shit! Well, that ain't no good. Different dimension with Miku in the middle. With not Miku in the middle. Miku Henchpin! Okay. Silver. Miku's silver to Hibiki's gold. That's an amazing looking form. Ain't Miku. Yep. XV. What the fuck does XV mean? I still don't know. Extreme velocity? Spitballing here. A clip show of Miku moments. And it's only episode 8. I know, I keep saying it with every episode, but forgive me. It's true. It's only episode 8, and Symphogear has a tendency to not let any drama moments like this persist for particularly long. So I'm assuming by episode 10 max, the issue with Miku will be solved. What then? Where do you go from here? Again, I'm sorry that I keep saying that, but I guess I know where we can go from here. Episode 10, Miku is saved. Episode 11, Fudo somehow gets his grubby hands on the divine power. Episode 13, Fudo is defeated. I guess that works. I guess that would work. Okay. That was a great episode, so let's watch it again, shall we? Oh, and I'm, of course, not unprepared for that. Play, pause, full screen. There we go. Last time on Dragon Ball Z moment. OP. Oh, okay, not OP anymore. Aufwachen waveform. Durdabla, I think was called. Durdabla, indeed. And of course, they have exactly 0 chance against Carol. Exactly and precisely 0. If they had a chance against Symphogear users, they have none against Carol. Simple as. Carol was probably their most fearsome foe. In the sheer scale of power, so to speak, and I don't know how to explain it, but like complexity of her power and the amount of it. Right? She has the chateau, she has the auto-scorers, she can use all those elements and stuff like that, right? And was extremely powerful enough to destroy the world. Sure, technically, Adam might have been more powerful in his... did he even take the divine form? I don't think he did in the end. Or did he? No, just his hand. Yeah, but technically, the gods that they've been fighting in the previous season and Adam and the other alchemists might have been more powerful on like purely power scale as compared to Carol, but not on the wide array of powers, right? Where Carol can take memories from people and stick autoscorers on them and burn something and flood something else and send a beam of destruction and summon whatever and do all those crazy shit. Adam, or a deity from the previous season, just has a yellow beam of energy. That beam might be more powerful, but it's just a yellow beam of energy. It might be bent a little, there might be 5 beams, there might be 1 big beam, but ultimately it's just a beam of energy. And seeing the divine being, the fetus in this season, also makes me feel like that, where villains, antagonists of previous seasons had very varied power. Meanwhile, I mean, it's not the final antagonist. It's not even the main antagonist of the show, but the deity fetus, dietus, dietus. Okay, dietus has just a beam. I don't want to say it's kind of boring, but it's not boring. It's just not varied. I guess because previous antagonists had to be, try different things, do some subterfuge, some, trying different things. Meanwhile, here it's just and there, that's all there is to it. Okay, I guess I get sidetracked. So let's continue. Let's get back on track. Of course, they are no match for Carol. How much of her body exactly is weapons? Because it seems like her thighs are weapons, her arms are weapons, her midsection is weapons. Where is, I don't know, the battery? Where are the servo motors or whatever powers her? It doesn't matter. Ultimately, we're not supposed to think about it, but it is a question that I have. What can I say? This is a very cool moment. Self-referential humor. We got her. Can't you see she's still singing, I say. This is something that's very common. Yeah, I'm not sure if in Symphogear itself, but probably to the point where they reference it. But very often do antagonists or even protagonists cheer for their win, for their victory before the victory is actually decided. It's a very, very, very common trope. Like, they see some smoke and they already believe that they won, and it's usually their downfall. I like that they take a dig at it here. And yeah, what do you expect from someone who took on the whole world alone? As you said yourselves, you're weak. You resort to subterfuge. You resort to underhanded tactics. But there is a certain threshold of power where you can't really resort to subterfuge. When someone can surround their entire body with magical shields, you can't exactly stab them in the back, right? Now meet your death, my song will cost you dearly. I like that Carol returned. I like that... Did the autoscorers have any song? I don't think they did. But yeah, I like that Carol returned, because we will hear that song during the concert, probably. I don't know what songs are on the concert. I know that it came out fairly recently. Don't spoil it to me. I want to know. I want to see myself when the time comes to watch it. But this is a really good song. I really like Carol's operatic voice, that little vibrato in her voice. I really did enjoy it. Those are not opponents one can approach carelessly. Yeah, kinda, sorta. I burn what's left of my memories with a sforzanto. And just casually summoning a black hole, of course, Carol style. And we have a full confirmation that there are both consciousnesses in Carol's body. There's Carol and there's Elf9. And we have a confirmation that Carol is just a massive tsundere. Thanking the autoscorers and just casually calling the song people. Certain someone had been using dubious machinery to tinker with their cerebral storage. The memories they collected were simply copied, pasted, and alchemically merged into a reasonably stable pseudo-personality. I'm not sure I get that pseudoscientific mumbo-jumbo, but I think she's implying that Elf9 has been digging in her brain. That's why we see her wearing that weird VR headset on her head in the opening, actually consciously, purposefully trying to wake up Carol's consciousness. That's what I'm getting. I don't know, might be mistaken, of course. That's not exactly how you ask a favor. I mean, she's not asking you a favor, she's telling you what you can do to fix this shit. You are in no position to deny. You're in no position to say, you didn't ask nicely, so we're not going to do that. Carol can say things however she pleases, because you know she's right. We would if we could. Going to take a little more time. Okay, it's going to take a little more time, so they have a little more time. We will rescue the girl who has the potential to become the vessel. I thought at this moment that Fudo again captured S.O.N.G's comms, and as they were talking to Carol, suddenly Fudo pops up on the screen instead, and I was about to get very, very angry. I was already creating scenarios in my mind where he's fucking with Tsubasa's brain and makes her do something stupid. But no, thankfully not. Thankfully he's just contacting his lackeys. We'll prove ourselves worthy by eliminating the intruder. That ancient asshole. We know that he's very, very old. And I think that and the red glow of his eyes and all that jazz, I think it really truly confirms that he's not human. He might be similar to Adam. That would be my very first thought. That Adam was like... What? Adam was created by the Custodians to be like their lackey on Earth or something like that, and he very much didn't like just being a follower, a slave to them, and so he wanted to become a god. I wonder if Custodians created more like him, and I wonder if Fudo might be one of them. Fudo is like Adam, created by Custodians. Okay, let's continue. Let's show him who can pull off a head on a sword. You cannot. If there's one thing they aren't missing, it's bravery and determination. But there is a very thin line between bravery and stupidity. When you get absolutely smacked around with zero effort by someone, you don't try to fight them again thinking it might work now. And here's the evil asshole doing evil asshole laugh. Soon enough, the divine power will be mine. And he has some protection from the Godslayer. And I have insurance against the only threat, the Godslayer. I wonder how well your insurance is gonna work, actually. I guess the insurance is that Hibiki will not want to destroy Miku's body. I think that's what it is. Shemha is now inhabiting Miku's body. So the only way to defeat Shemha is to just slice them open or punch them into a pulp with gut-slaying powers. But there's a problem because Shemha resides inside of Miku's body. And if you vaporize Shemha's head, well, Miku's head also gets vaporized. Classic. Classic. But not unwelcome. It doesn't feel like a trope. It is a trope, but doesn't feel like it. Which is good. And which I think very well describes a major part of Symphogear as a series. It's full of tropes, but they kind of work. And I like it. I really do. We need to reverse the ritual or whatever she says. And yeah, of course, Carol being tsundere. We can't just drag her off the altar. Again, a classic. We need to start reversing the ritual. I wonder... I was about to say, I wonder if maybe they managed to reverse a little bit of that ritual, and that will create a weak spot in Shemha. Or Shemha. And that's gonna be what allows Hibiki to save Miku? I wonder. It's a possibility. If not, then I would have to question what the fuck was Carol doing all this time. Okay, she was fighting the alchemists. Okay, I don't listen to me. Doesn't matter. I was about to say, what was she doing all this time if she didn't manage to undo the ritual? But of course, she was busy with other matters. Since ancient times, people have felt a divine presence in the shape of the world, and in their worship, the two concepts frequently became one and the same. So the world became the same as divinity, and divinity became the same as the world. And since Chateau de Tifauge is a tool made to dissect the very idea of the world, if world equals divinity, Chateau de Tifauge can dissect divinity. Okay, I get it. It can defeat the foe we face, indeed. Possibly. I wonder if that's gonna be... if that's gonna be their saving grace, so to speak. What's going on? Okay, doesn't matter. Yeah. Wait, how much am I skipping? 5 seconds, okay, that's good. I wonder if the situation is gonna be similar to the mirror. What was the name of it? Shenshojing. Yeah, Shenshojing. I wonder if it's gonna be similar, where Shenshojing managed to destroy Shenshojing and Hibiki's growth, and thus save them both. This time around, a blast from Chateau de Tifauge will be able to erase divinity from Miku, just leaving Miku behind. Probably how it's gonna go. Blast from Chateau clears divinity from Miku. And I think Chateau de Tifauge is the key here, because it's the only thing that Fudo couldn't have prepared for. He could be prepared for the Godslayer coming after him. He could be prepared for, I don't know, Chateau de Tifauge having some automated defense systems or what have you. But he could not be prepared for Carol awakening inside of Elf9 and resuming her reign as the master of the Chateau de Tifauge. If he somehow predicted that, then I call bullshit. I'm sorry, but I call bullshit. For all everybody ever was concerned, Carol died. Even the people who might be familiar with the fact that Carol donated her body to Elf9 would assume that Carol is no more. It's just her body with Elf9's personality. So if Fudo somehow predicted it, I'm not gonna be willing to suspend my disbelief enough. So I hope he didn't, And I hope this is the key to salvation. Okay, they arrived. And straight up jumping into a suicide song. That was a little bit of, what? Moment for me. Because as I said, the suicide song is the last ditch effort, at least in my mind still. It's something they use when they have no other option. And something that they, at least subconsciously, fear. Something that doesn't come lightly. Meanwhile, here, all of them agreeing to use the suicide song was not much different than all of them agreeing to, I don't know, go on a lunch break. Just completely devoid of any resistance from anybody and very casual. I think the lack of resistance is understandable. They are doing that to save their friends, so of course nobody will waver. But I didn't expect it to be so casual. Hey, wanna sing a suicide song? Hell yeah, I do. And they just sing and start bleeding, and a little bit of a dissonance between the casualness of the proposition and the effects. Either you're desperate, both they say, but not really. They really don't have anything to defeat Carol. Yeah, did you really believe it's gonna work just like that? Of course it's not. 7 billion songs. 7 billion superb songs. Exactly. My song alone has the phonic gain of 7 billion superb songs. So she instantly henshined all of them into their... I'm not even gonna count the henshins. It's their divine, not divine form, because divine form has a very particular meaning in this series. It's their ultimate form? Kinda. The form they always take in the finale of the season, where they sing the suicide song and Hibiki weaves those songs together and henshins all of them into angelic forms. Kind of a long name, but I don't have any better. If this form actually has some proper name, do let me know, because I'm curious. Also, I like how Maria is wielding a sword now and not a dagger. Her base form of Erget Lam seems to be a dagger, but now it grew. More power, more blade. Makes sense. And the henshin, because Carol has a limited amount of energy, of course. They're bleeding. These symptoms, you didn't... What symptoms? Coughing blood, that's a very generic symptom. At least in anime. Coughing blood can mean anything from cancer, brain hemorrhage, poison, getting hit in the leg, getting shot in the arm, or Japanese cold. It's a universal symptom that can fit any kind of an illness. So I wonder what actually she means. Probably he's been tampering with their blood. Somehow. Or getting them... Yeah, probably. Probably tampering with their blood. It reminds me... Sorry. I already mentioned that, I think, in one of the previous episodes, where I also suspected that Fudo has some collar and a leash on them. That there was a story again, I still can't remember what it was. Whether it was a movie or a book or what was it, where the villain was... or not forcefully, but the villain was distributing some sort of a medicine among their underlings. Every day they had to take a shot or a pill or whatever it was. And it was done in a way where you would suspect that he got them all addicted to that thing, whatever it was, so that they will not want to leave. They will want the next hit of that drug. And then it is revealed that the drug actually stops or slows down, I think stops, the development of some larva or an egg or whatever it was implanted somewhere in their abdomen. And if they stop taking the drug, that egg will hatch, and whatever is inside is gonna burrow through their guts and kill them. Or something along those lines. Again, I don't have a clear image of what it was exactly. If you have any suspicions, again, let me know, because it's gonna bother me. And something similar here. We think that he's keeping them by supplying them with blood, but no, he's keeping them by supplying them with blood that slowly kills them and artificially doing that. I'm not sure. I hope it gets explained fully and properly. To protect the country from any and all threats. And apparently he assumes they are a threat. I know that this is supposed to be a very menacing image, but I'm just gonna turn it into an emote on my Discord server, because it has so much meme potential. Those glowing eyes are very, very meme. Udo. And again, we continue with the theme of trusting the antagonists, trusting the villains. You don't do that. You don't do that. I think every time I bring up the example of don't get together with someone who cheated their significant other, who cheated on their significant other with you, because if they cheated on them, they might as well cheat on you, right? The same goes for this. If you're working with a ruthless bastard, don't expect that they will not be ruthless towards you. They absolutely will. You're not special, you're just a tool to them. And it's not the first time it happens in Symphogear. We clad ourselves in the light of hope. I really do like Tsubasa's attack here. As I mentioned, I like small-scale attacks with large consequences. She just drew a circle, swung her sword once, very minimal movement to that, and it just split the thing open. I like this little dance of Chris and Maria, and they didn't have to do the docking sequence, but they did. They didn't have to do that, but they did. And a big blast from a railgun, unfortunately not quite enough. Very interesting effect on this thing. It was white and purple, and now it turned green. Why? Is it the underlying material? Is Chris's and Maria's combiner railgun made to grow moss on things? I don't know. Kinda looks like. I'm not sure. But of course, it has other copies in other realities that it can substitute itself with. And here we're launching mankind's trump card, the Godslayer's Fist. Tanya Degrechav inside of a V1 rocket, delivered straight to the enemy base. Our lives are the Sentinel's shield that defends hope. I really like this. Is this the moment? No, wait. This is the moment. I really like it. Hit. Condition red. And it falls away and blows up. This really grounds Symphogears, their armor, as something actually properly physical. Very often when characters henshin, that henshin isn't really acknowledged. It doesn't really influence the outside world, and the outside world doesn't really influence it. Like, sure, you might have some Super Sentai shows where the suit gets torn up, maybe, or you might have some Mahou Shoujo show where they get sooty because something blew up. But usually, the henshin suit, henshin costume, stays together, right? I don't think I've ever seen a Power Ranger leave a glove on a bench and then proceed with their day, right? I've never seen a Mahou Shoujo show where one of the girls would leave her shoes somewhere, or take the bow and rip it off and throw it into the river, or, you know, anything like that. Those costumes are always a part of the design, a part of the body, and they are more a part of the design than they are an actual physical thing, right? It's not like those headphones are actually physical, are actually there. They are just a part of the design. This really grounds Symphogear henshin suit as something tangible, something you can actually touch, something you could actually disassemble. You could actually pull off Hibiki's headphones, put them on the table, take a screwdriver, and start tinkering with them. And I really like it. Kind of a shame it happened this late in what might very well be the final season, but I say better late than never. Although it would be very, very fun if they kept up with this from the very beginning. We could have some very cool scenes where their henshins are actually henshin suits are actually like used, maybe in creative ways. What if Hibiki could detach her jetpack, give it to Miku, so that Miku can run away easier from somewhere, right? Miku grab onto it, she grabs onto it, gets boosted into the air, and Tsubasa captures her, saves her, or, you know, something like that. How cool would it be if, I don't know, Tsubasa's sword was knocked out of her hand and Maria picked it up and started swinging? Right? You get what I mean? It would be super cool. So it's kind of a shame that they're doing it late, but again, better late than never. And by the by, if you know any shows that actually have like tangible henshins, like what I'm talking about, do let me know, because I found a need that I didn't know I had. And yeah, Hibiki very much jumping in V1 style, Yojo Senki style, head first. And Chrysopia moment. Her headphone returned, but she's in the Chrysopia form, so I guess it was reformed. There it is. I really wanted to see this. Not really henshin, just a blink transformation. I really like the colors. Purple really works well with yellow. And as I said, I really do enjoy the more organic form of the Chrysopia form. It's, or amalgam, whatever they want to call it. I'm just gonna keep calling it Chrysopia, unless I forget the word, in which case I'm just gonna use amalgam. You won't get another chance. It's opening up. And there we go. That's what I wanted to see. I really like the skin-tight suit with a big butterfly in the middle, with hexagons that were usually visible just during henshin sequences. And the flower theme. I love those petals. Those golden petals that form her arms, her weapons. They are technological, but not in the same way as main proper Symphogear. It looks like it's like made of molten gold almost, right? Like, it's not... Nobody used some screwdrivers and circuit boards and stuff to make it. They just took a bar of magic gold, smelted it in the fire of Magic Forge, poured it into a magic cast, and that's how they made a plate for her arms, right? It doesn't look intricate. It looks very natural and very obvious, kinda. There's not much more to what we see, and I like it. And of course the hearts inside of her hands. Extreme hand holding. Fast, short, straight. Anything but. Sorry. She is fast, she is short. Straight? Not really. Direct? I guess she is. And more purple and gold. A perfect moment to stop. The impact frame. Impact frames usually follow what is seen in that particular frame. You see the frame, and then that frame turns black and white, increased contrast, right? That's how it usually looks. But this impact frame looks anything but like what the previous frame. It's a flower that turns into an explosion, into a big, big white flower. And that apparently triggered not the power, the divine power getting inside of Miku, but Miku getting sucked into the divine power. Why? Why the reversal? I wonder. Miku was supposed to be the vessel for Shemha, not Shemha the vessel for Miku. I hope it gets explained properly. I also love this detail of Hibiki putting her hand back in the inside of the gauntlet. That's yet another thing that grounds this gear. Usually when they launch a part of their armor, it just gets launched and forgotten about. This time it actually stays there and Hibiki can recapture it. Cool. And she's in the 4th dimension. With not Miku. Let's see this henshin. Very pale. Eyes very much reminiscent of the Custodians. Silver. First thing that immediately jumped into my head. Silver. Silver and gold. Miku is the silver to Hibiki's gold right now. Opposites. And her henshin also has the very similar vibe. Her henshin and her form have a very similar vibe to Hibiki's Chrysopia. They are also floral themed. They are also very organic. Right? Those petals unfurling, revealing the crystal. Again, very sleek, very form-fitting. And she just gives her girlfriend a little bit of a show. Again, with the theme of getting naked. You could be mistaken that you're watching Kill la Kill at times. Many hexagons inside of her body. Bandages. Turning into form-fitting armor. Bandages, bandages, bandages. The Corpus Dei at the beginning of the season was also wrapped up in bandages. And also, of course, mummification, body wrapped in bandages has a lot of significance. More bandages. Some serious knee pads. Knee pads. With cameras. Surprisingly technological. I really was expecting something more otherworldly. Right? Deities or the deity forms or whatever that we've seen so far in this series were always very organic. They didn't have any mechanics to them, any mechanisms. The closest would be autoscorers, but they aren't exactly deities, right? So it's surprising to see not Isharmla. Isharmla is from Arknights. Shemha's power creates something very Symphogear-like, really. Very technological. I was expecting some tentacles wrapping around and then bursting open into some fluid and, something more Lovecraftian almost. Or something, on the other hand, something, again, very otherworldly, but very, very elegant, so to speak, right? Like, I don't know, liquid silver floating down her arm and leaving behind pieces of armor. Or, something like that. I didn't expect a very Symphogear-like henshin with a lot of technobits. Okay, not a lot of technobits, but the fact that there are technobits involved, like here, right? It's surprising on one hand. On the other, it might not be surprising if the Custodians turn out to really be a very advanced spacefaring race of aliens, not really gods. It's not like they are actual gods, they are just aliens advanced enough to be mistaken for gods. Right? Any technology advanced enough could be mistaken for magic. Stands to reason that any technology advanced enough could be mistaken for God, finger of God, for a miracle, right? I wonder. Custodians aren't gods. They're just advanced aliens. I wonder about that. Again, the floral themes. This seems to be a rose or something similar. More wrappings, more bandages forming a crown with nice horns. Reminds... Oh, that's an interesting impact frame. And again, with the techno bits, right? Why are there cameras inside of her earpiece? I don't know. Why does a deity need cameras? Glowing red eyes and the bracer. I didn't notice that bracer initially, but it is of course here. Bit of a twirl, showing off. What's on her back? A comma and an apostrophe. Sure. No, just a comma and an inverted comma. And there we go. Miku's god form. Almost looks like... what was that show? Strike Witches. Almost looks Strike Witches-like. With very slim and form-fitting and almost non-existent upper armor, upper suit. Meanwhile, the legs are just fucking massive jet boosters. I like this design. I really do like this design. Silver and purple very much differs from Hibiki's gold and yellow. Very cool design. And we see the Aufwachen waveform behind her, which again signifies that it is a Symphogear, isn't it? Because it uses the power of song to be created, to exist. You'd think gods that came to Earth before the songs, before the alchemy, would not be using that. They would have something else. They would have that pure magic before it split into song and alchemy, right? They would have that pure thing. And they shouldn't even use any of that because the song and the alchemy were created kinda in opposition to the Custodians, right? To give humanity their power back, to stand up to the noise. So why would a deity, why would a Custodian use Aufwachen waveforms and Symphogear technology to create their champion? And the fists burst into petals, of course. Miku, nope. I am Shemha. One worshipped by mankind as the god of this planet. So a god of gods, right? Different names in different religions, but pretty much every monotheistic religion has that god of gods, and that would be Shemha. As far as I think episode 8 XV. I wonder. Actually. There we go. Cool episode. What can I say? Pure hype. just almost pure unadulterated hype. I said I wonder because I do wonder. There's plenty of episodes still left. 5 to be precise, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 5 episodes left. I wonder if we use the power of Chateau de Tifauge to cleanse Miku of the divine power, but she retains her Symphogear. She becomes the 7th Ranger. She becomes the purple one. 7th? 7th. Hasn't there been a lot of talk about like 7 planets, 7 nodes, right? Yeah. 7 planets, 7 nodes, 7 Symphogear users. Everything fits perfectly. Everything matches. Oh, I have it noted. Miku gets a henshin. Well, I guess we can, while we're at it, we can might as well just highlight it in green. Not gonna read through other theories yet. Villain Miku, there we go, another. Okay, let's leave it at that. What was I about to note? Right, Miku gets cleansed. Miku gets cleansed and joins as the 7th Ranger. Yeah, probably what's gonna happen. And then the 7 of them are going to have to stand up against Fudo. How's he gonna get his grubby, old, wrinkly hands on more divinity, though? That's the question. If Chateau de Tifauge unwraps and unveils and breaks down the idea of divinity, then chances of the Bracer surviving are slim to none. So it's not like Fudo will be able to use that Bracer to attain divinity. Is he gonna be able to find something else? I don't know. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I'm mostly at a loss. In the short term, for sure we will save Miko. That much is obvious. But in the long term, how do we keep Fudo as the villain, as the final villain of the season, potentially final villain of the show? If we're fighting motherfucking Yahweh himself right now. How are we going to make Fudo a worthy opponent? Or maybe we're not gonna. Maybe someone else is gonna arrive at the last moment. They're gonna pull a Trigger slash Gainax with, and then suddenly aliens. Wouldn't surprise me at this point. I wonder where it's going to go. Honestly, genuinely. Yeah, I'm really honestly at a loss. Uh, uh. Yeah, no predictions from me. No predictions from me, just a lot of confusion. Just a lot and lot of confusion, but the good kind of confusion, right? It's not like this episode or the show so far has been confusing. It's just I'm missing some crucial information, I'm missing some detail, and I'm waiting for the show to supply me with that detail, with that information, so that I can figure things out, or I'm waiting for the show to just explain things. The good kind of confusion, curiosity. Curious. I'm very, very curious where they're gonna go with it. Anything else? Let me go skip through this episode real quick. Carol is probably gonna stay relevant. She's extremely powerful, right? The power of 7 billion songs and whatnot. So I'm assuming she will also be helpful in their quest to defeat Fudo or whatever their quest ends up being. Our new alchemists, will they be rescued? Possible. Possible. They just had, as I said, very generic, just coughing up blood. It could be anything. It could be canker sores for all they know. For all we know. Are we gonna see another villain redemption arc for our alchemists? They aren't really villains, really. They're just lackeys forced to work for the actual villain for a promise that he doesn't intend to keep. That's tragic. So I hope they get a good ending. I hope that perhaps that would be interesting. For a short while, Miku retains her divine powers but breaks out from under the influence of Shemha and just waves her hand and turns the alchemists back into humans. That would be interesting. I hope they have a good ending. Honestly, when it comes to this trio of alchemists, I was hoping the previous trio is gonna have a good ending. They didn't. They died in a, I still fully believe, very stupid and avoidable way, but what can you do? So I hope at least this trio of alchemists will see a good ending to them. Will actually live happily ever after. I feel like there should be more to talk about here, but I don't think there is. I don't think there is, and I'm having that feeling that I very often have, where I want to sit here and keep talking and talking and talking, but I would just be spinning in circles. I would just turn it into a podcast and not really say anything of value. So I think I'm gonna stop it here. And should I have anything more to say, I'm gonna say it during the beginning of the next episode. Probably. That's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna artificially prolong this video. But maybe if you have something more to add, you can of course say so down in the comments below. What did you think of my of this episode, of my reaction, my theories, stuff like that? No spoilers, please, of course. There's a Discord here, also linked in the description. Join it. There's a Symphogear channel where you can talk spoilers to hard content. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Symphogear XV, but also Benria Saito-san Isekai ni Iku, Oyukiyomi no Kaina movie, whenever that comes out, because we finished the anime, Gundam Witch from Mercury, and others that will be coming at you in the near future. Support the channel if you want monetarily on Patreon, for example, link in the description below. For $10 a month, you get early access to non-seasonal shows like Symphogear or others, and for just $1, you get a role on the Discord and a place in the credits. And if you don't want to spend any money whatsoever, share my content, spread the word. It costs you absolutely nothing and helps the channel a lot, believe you me. And now, with all of that out of the way, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers. And here's my wonderful Patreons: QB, Bobbin, Without a Net, Fruit, Zyrainer, Akamancer, Marsh, Yukiala, Cure Dynamic, Fassel, and Dr. Walt and Hans Peter. And you can join their ranks, and you don't need to be a god to do that.